Who are you talking to right now? Who is it you think you see?
You probably don't even hear it when it happens, right?
There's your friend in there, on the wall.
Do we have a problem? Carmen, Anthony.
Through the centuries that humanity's been around, we've always told stories. Some hopeful, a lot of the Greek ones are tragic, but there remains one consistency. We like to be influenced by somebody else's adventure. As movies have slowly become a less and less honored medium, changing from intriguing stories of the human condition to shill-outs of Disney remakes and superhero rehashes, obviously there's some exceptions, but as this mighty media has seemed to become less and less of what it used to be, its younger brother on the small screen has just grown to a pedestal of originality. I fucking love TV. My fat ass could sit in my bed all day and binge shows for weeks on end. And as it has seemed we have moved into a golden age of the media, I want to discuss what makes it to me so profound, and why dramas remain to have such a loud presence. Also, I will be focusing on dramas for this video. Maybe I'll do one on sitcoms in the future. But to you Love Island and 50 Day Fiancé fans, get out.
My name's Carmen. My brother's an addict. My brother was an addict.
The Bear has rightfully so become one of the most highly praised show of the modern century. It manages to be an insanely emotional piece, constantly going back and forth from 0 to 100.
You are a fucking loser, and that is why you hate that I'm here, right? Because I see you. You're the loser that you fucking are.
This causes a realistic tension between the characters, giving them a very graspable struggle. The show follows Carmine, a world-class chef who returns to Chicago to revive his brother's restaurant following his suicide. Whilst there's numerous moments I can name from this series, like the dinner episode, which exemplified a broken family, to the review, which was a powerhouse of an episode all filmed in one take, I want to talk about my personal favorite moment, which was Carmine's speech in the season 1 finale. As Carmine goes to attend a support group for people who've been afflicted by drug addiction, he goes off about his brother and his family's struggle.
My brother and I, we would cook a lot together, especially when we were kids. You know, that's when we were closest. Food was always our common ground.
With him surmising his life story in such a brass and honest way, creating a brilliant start to the season finale. Still, to this day, there are few moments that feel more powerful to me than...
And I think that flicked this switch in me where I was like, okay, fuck you, watch this.
The show continues to base itself in reality and doesn't water down Carmine at all here. It instead perfectly shows him, bruises and all.
That restaurant, it has, and it does mean a lot to people. It means a lot to me. I just don't know if it ever meant anything to him.
How are you feeling now?
Good. Fine. Back at work.
What line of work are you in?
Waste management consultant.
The Sopranos is a show that's lived far past its runtime. Its influence still stands today, with its roots being placed in most modern TV, with the ending still being one of the most debated conclusions to any show. It's made such an impact, whole books have been written about it. But getting off of me droning on about why The Sopranos is so grand, and back to the foundation of it, Tony Soprano himself, a definitive anti-hero. We see him do brutal murders and commit countless crimes over the series, with the message being clear: these are not good guys. Which is why it's so much fucking fun to watch.
Fuck that. This is how I say nothing.
The Sopranos covered topics which on TV had been unheard of at the time, along with making plays that would generally just be a TV no-no. And I feel like the thing that brings it together in such a bow is the way it's presented. Tony Soprano consistently interacts with a therapist throughout the show, giving a sort of inside the mind of perspective to calm and put into direct opposition with the brutal mob life that we see. Tony Soprano himself is such a detailed character as well.
Shut up.
It's made very clear that he's not a good guy, but as an audience, we consistently see both sides of him. Whilst he does countless bad things like constant affairs, racism, ignoring his son's depression, child abuse in general, and, well, fucking murder, we also see the caring dad side of Tony.
It says with pulp.
You like it with pulp.
Not this much.
Where instead of being shocked by what he does, we root for him and his family's success. It's why I think The Sopranos are still so relevant today. Each of the characters in this show are so well defined that TikTok clips have managed to give this, and many, many other shows, a whole new life.
As for the other stuff, do I think that I'm smarter than you? You're damn right I do. But if you think that means that I can't kick your ass up and down this floor, take a swing and see what happens. I didn't think so.
Suits is a show that makes me feel overwhelmingly intelligent. There are a few shows which I think accomplish what Suits does. Throughout the entire series, we see war after war, all of which being entirely battled out through words. Every single conversation manages to be so tightly knit, with each little thing that's said usually having major penalties for later. The first episode of this show might be one of my favorite series openers ever. We see Mike go from a pothead deadbeat cheating on tests for money to a full-blown lawyer in what is probably my favorite interview scene ever.
Should have a seat here. Whoa, what's this?
Well, besides Rick, but you know what, we'll get to that later. I also love how the first episode plays into the characters. Everyone has such a defined role that feels so developed even in this early stage of the show. Harvey is a beyond good lawyer. Donna is an exceedingly smart people reader, and Mike almost acts as a sort of straight man introducing us to the world while still propelling the main conflict. Suits is not for everyone. It doesn't really have blood and massive explosions, but it still leaves a different sort of sophisticated appeal that I love for like the first 3 seasons. Comedy and murder. Oh my god, Barry is insane. I'm not gonna lie, by the end of season 3, I was so appalled and confused, but that confusion and disgust was all for a very grandiose, beautiful reason. Barry is a show that starts out as a really tight comedy. It's hilarious to see a literal cartoon-level rivalry between the Chechen and Bolivian gangs.
Hey! Don't pull that gun at me, man. Don't pull that gun at me. Take the shot. No.
With the actual jokes in the main plotline being overwhelmingly quick. Between Gene Cousineau's ego and Barry just being completely oblivious of how serious of a crime murder is, it's great. But as Barry continues, it's a show that fully displays consequences of someone's actions. Which is why later in the series, we see this upbeat comedy with a surprisingly gripping story go to a show where we listen to 2 men get eaten alive by a bear while watching another guy cry in his cell. Barry slowly turns into a drama with some very shocking elements. I love this transition. It takes Barry off the ground of a wacky, dark comedy to a piece with a profound message of how Hollywood alters reality. It continuously places hard-hitting moral dilemmas and shows a brilliant display of depression and abusive relationships to boot.
Don't fucking laugh at me! My whole life! My whole fucking life!
If you're still yet to watch Barry, I would say go for it. It can feel very unorthodox at first, but it slowly does transform into an intense piece.
You are fucking nuts, man. Also, I know you're on a farm or something because I can hear goats in the background.
Maybe I'm at the zoo with my new best friend.
I thought you said you were at a hospital.
Carl! Carl! Laurie! Carl!
The Walking Dead is my favorite show of all time, something that I have been nothing but vocal about on this channel. Despite its very bloody wounds, the early seasons of the show completely engulfed me for a good period of my life, so much that I read all of the comics. Wait, I've done this before. Anyway, the thing that in my opinion just makes The Walking Dead so good is the emotion. Whilst eventually the killing gets kinda monotonous, just getting invested in a character to see them deceased by the end of the season was a little annoying, but at the same time it is undeniable that when a death in the series was properly planned, it panned out. It's why we get reactions like this from the show. The life or death investment that it feels like getting invested in these characters is what makes this show so addicting. It definitely helps that the portrayals by most of these actors feel like it took everything. Andrew Lincoln to Jeffrey Dean Morgan, shit, even Chandler Riggs, they all create such real feeling characters. This immerses us so well with us literally watching the most scarring moments of these people's lives.
Every day he woke up.
Told himself, rest in peace. Now get up and go to war.
I could go on and on about how this or that moment made me feel, the power behind No Way Out. There's so much I could discuss, which I already have. Boom, check out that video. But the consensus is, I love The Walking Dead. Yeah, I'm gonna be real with you. What hasn't been said about Breaking Bad? This show lives in complete and utter glory. It has universally become accepted as one of, if not the best shows of all time. It's had so many video essays and fucking Walter White badass short montages. It encompasses television stardom to a new level. So let's see if I can do it justice. Breaking Bad manages to be dramatic, funny,
First name Emilio. That's at least half a beaner.
smart, and quick all at once. Throughout the series, we see drug overdoses and people lying in money. It consistently provides compelling, realistic problems, making the characters a constantly shifting variable, with many not showing their own hand. And of course, with the protagonist, Walter White, having his entire hand change.
Say my name.
Heisenberg.
You're goddamn right.
It's never soured its reputation, instead it fully earns it. With the last 3 episodes being the highest rated in the series, we see the most adept portrayal of a change in a person. Watching the most interesting drug cook to ever be portrayed go from a meager, undervalued, overqualified chemistry teacher to the biggest drug kingpin that side of the lower United States. It's all crafted in complete beauty. The side characters seeing Skyler's abusive mob wife situation, watching Jesse struggle to live with himself, to even rooting for Walt's biggest hurdle in Hank. I have loads more to say about this show, but honestly, that's why I'm done. If you're more interested in Breaking Bad, just fucking watch it. More than any other show I've mentioned, this is just a show everyone should see once in their life. Mwah.
Jesse, you asked me if I was in the meth business or the money business. Neither. I'm in the empire business.
Welp, that was TV. Well, some of it. I really have been enjoying this alternative broad topic video where I can really just relish on whatever I want. And TV is definitely a bigger one for me. Since I was little, I remember warming up to my mom and watching Sesame Street or fucking Mr. Men and Little Misses. TV's the best, which is why I'm probably gonna go watch it now. Goodbye.